this up. When I was a wee lass, I had $10, and as a kid that young, it made me feel like a millionaire. I don't remember where I got that money, but I vividly remember what I spent it on. Wii Shop points. With those points, I bought Mario Kart 64 on the Wii Virtual Console. Little did my empty child brain know, I didn't have a controller to play it. I only had the base Wiimote nunchuck. So my dad gave me $10 more because I scammed myself. It felt a bit less special, but with that money, I bought 2 NES games, Super Mario Bros. And Ghosts and Goblins. And out of the 3, the only game I was playing was Super Mario Bros. So Ghosts and Goblins has this weird reputation. It's super hard, but so is most other NES games. So why does this one stand out? And why was this one remembered by so many people and not the other games? Could it be that this game was great? I don't know. The original game doesn't have reviews apparently. Would it be the memorable soundtrack? Maybe. Could it be that Arthur and Little Heart Boxers is the funniest thing I've ever seen? Yes. So why am I talking about Ghost and Goblin? The title says Maximo, for God's sake. Whoa, calm down. Also, don't be so mean, bro, please. Come the early 2000s, Capcom wants to bring Ghosts and Goblins into 3D. This was only 1 year after the PlayStation 2 launched, so they got to watch a bunch of other franchises have a real hard time transitioning into 3D. So they understandably took a half measure and made a spin-off 3D platformer instead. This platformer being Maximo Ghost to Glory. So was it a good transition? Let's find out. So Maximo, who is presumably either a soldier or a prince, it isn't really mentioned, goes to his castle where he finds his soon-to-be bride Sophia being held captive by the necromancer king Achille, who wants Sophia to be his bride. Achille kills Maximo, and I mean kills. And Maximo is visited by the Grim Reaper, who's in a bit of a pickle because Achille, being a necromancer, yoinks the dead out of the underworld and puts them back on Earth. Grim, being quite upset by this, makes a deal with Maximo to bring him back to life, as long as he has enough death coins. These cutscenes are weird. It's obvious that it was originally meant to be in Japanese because the lip syncing is hilariously offbeat.
I control your kingdom now.
And there were a handful of moments that broke me. Look at this.
Maximo! Achille, you told me Maximo...
Silence!
Overall, there are 6 cutscenes totaling around 7 minutes. So needless to say, there's not really much you can say about the story, besides one notable event which I'll bring up when necessary. Okay, on to the first level. So the first thing I noticed is that there was no tutorial. Okay, on to the manual. The manual is interesting. At some points, there'll be parts that make me go, oh, why didn't I think of that? But there's also parts that I wish were explained, like for example the power-up system. Yeah, they go over the main strokes, but it's up to you to decipher which power-up does what, only being given an abstract symbol to figure it out. What does this mean? What's that? I didn't even know that Maximo could turn into a skeleton until the third to last level on my second playthrough. Other than that, the manual is full of charm, having bios for all the characters and enemies. My favorite enemy is the sword-wielding skeleton. There's even bios for the 5 playable worlds in the game. My favorite world is the Great Dank. Okay, on to the first level for real. This game controls incredibly well, it being one of those games where you have no one to blame but yourself for dying. Except for platforming. It's completely fine usually, but there's no manual camera, so you're at the mercy of the game. This makes some jumps almost impossible, as you can't see where you're jumping to. And salt is added to the wound because pits are an instant death no matter how much health you have, health being gained through vials dropped by enemies, green vials being small health boosts, and red vials bringing you to full health. More health can be obtained by getting armor, giving you another health bar until that health bar runs out and you lose it. There's also a visual change. As you lose armor, that armor falls off, revealing Maximo and his boxers. Yes! And speaking of boxers, there are items you can buy from these weird pedestals the manual affectionately calls the Wheel of Prizes. They're basically shops. You collect money throughout the levels when used at the Wheel of Prizes. You can buy pretty much any item drop except death coins. They range in price, but you can get a mystery item at the flat price of 150 coins. It comes with the risk of overpaying for cheap items, but you can also get expensive items cheaper. Also, you can't change what's being sold, so you gotta take it or leave it. Also, you can buy boxers from the stores. I don't believe there's any changes other than cosmetic differences, but I still love the option to buy them. Here's my tier list. If you don't want to spend your hard-earned money buying items, you can go to the fountain and spend a whole 100 coins, saving the game. Yeah, you heard me correctly. You need to spend coins to save. You call it dumb, but this is exactly how US healthcare works. The reason why saving works like this is to make you think about every purchase you make, as the life system is a bit unconventional. You have your traditional lives. They're pretty common, but you'll still find yourself running out of lives often. When that happens, you go to the continue screen, where you have to spend death coins to continue. You earn death coins by collecting spirit from spirit objects. Keep in mind, the more you continue, the more death coins you have to spend to keep playing. If you run out, you go back to your last save point. One of my favorite parts about Maximo are the enemies. All have their own original gimmicks, and no two enemies are exactly the same. You have a skeleton that dies in one hit, a skeleton with a sword and a shield, a skeleton that can dig its way underground and pop out behind you, a wizard that changes your age, making you slower and unable to attack. You have goat demons that charge at you, and ravens that steal your money. There are way more I could bring up here, but I don't want this part to go on for too long. Down that same road, let's talk about some bosses. There's 6, but I'm only going to talk about 5 right now. Got Ghastly Gus, I'm not going to try to pronounce that, Captain Cadaver, Lord Glutterscum, and Achille himself. They're all surface level and pretty easy, except 2. Captain Cadaver, because you have to use your duck feature, which is only used one other time in the game, where you have to duck under some sauce, which brings into question why you would add that as a feature to begin with. And Achille, who has a force field that can only be broken by certain moves, but it brings back the problem from earlier about the power-up symbols. When you complete a boss battle, you save one of 4 sorceresses. They give you a choice between a free save point, full armor, and a kiss. Aww. And I give you 5 seconds to guess what the kisses give you. If you collect them all, and that means giving up some useful help, you get an image gallery at the end of the game. Just wait till you find out what 100% mastery gives you. I'll save that for last. Okay, let's get on to the end of the game. After traversing the 5 worlds, one of them literally being hell, you face off against Achille. He turns into this weird blue demon. You have to hit these demoninators to turn him back. You dispose of him pretty quickly and go to meet Sophia, and she turns into this weird purple demon. Yeesh. This is by far the best boss fight in the game. You're in this dark throne room while this big demon that's like a mashup of Ridley from Metroid and the Xenomorph from Alien. The lightning flashes are the only thing illuminating the scene. Your only chance to attack is when the demon appears right in front of you out of nowhere, and you have to hit its big forehead gem. The complete darkness creates this genuinely creepy atmosphere that got me on my toes and made me jump a few times. Definitely a boss fight to go down in the history books. After Maximo brings down the demon Sophia, he sits on his throne, absolutely defeated. I don't know how they did it, but they were able to make this early 2000s 3D model look more depressed and squeeze more emotion out of this character than most AAA games today. When it seems like it's all over, Grim assures Maximo that Sophia's still alive somewhere, and they venture out into a new adventure. Maximo has one more game in the franchise, Maximo Army of Zin. I have not played this game, I couldn't tell you anything about this game except its general perception. And it's pretty good. It's actually better than the original game, which has me excited. It has some stellar reviews, like GameSpot, that gave it the title of Best PlayStation 2 Game of January 2004. And Men's Magazine, Maxim, gave it an 8 out of 10, saying you drop trow and have some fun. I don't like the implication of that. I might review this game in the future, but don't count on it. And one last thing I mentioned I was going to talk about, the 100% mastery completion. This entails killing every enemy, getting every hidden chest, collecting every coin, and this all has to be done in both the normal levels and the hub worlds. And what does this give you? The first level, backwards. I don't even know how to segue out of this section. This is just plain evil. I guess it's fitting for ghosts and goblins, but damn. I love this game, man. It might be nostalgia, but I don't care. This game just fills me with joy. On my first playthrough, I used save states because... Hey, stop booing! Because I was too scared of the game's death mechanics. I felt a bit guilty afterwards, so I went to play through the first 2 worlds of the game again. I played the entire game a second time. This was the day after I beat it the first time, and overall I spent 13 hours in the game. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm itching to play it again. So should you play Maximo? Absolutely. In fact, go play it right now. You're looking at $15 to $20 on eBay, or you can go do the other option, I won't judge. So this has been Jenny, and I will continue to be Jenny. Bye-bye.